Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Yasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata-sevayā. Bhagavati Uttama-shloke Bhaktir-bhavati Naishtaki. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajeshatanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam. Ramya Kachitupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena va kalpita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramanamamalam prema pumartho maha. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhur tatrādhara nāpara. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much everyone for joining to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam together, and especially on this day of Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi. So we read about the importance of Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi as well from none other than Vyasadeva himself, talking to Bhimasena. So now we will read Canto 10, Chapter 33, entitled the Rasa Leela. And we have read till text.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hanshul Prabhu. Thank you for joining.
Prabhuji, I will drop because actually I am not in US, I'm in India and I'm right now in hospital. Sorry, Prabhuji. I seen your message just to join, so that's why I joined.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear it. I'll connect with you after this call.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Take care of, and we pray. Please take care of what you have to.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
I'll connect with you. Canto 10, Chapter 33, text number 25. Evam Shashankamsu Virijatini Nishaha Sa Satyakamu Anurattabhlaganaha Shisheva Atmani Avaruddha Saurataha Sarva Sharat Kavya Katharasa Shrayaha. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Although the gopis were firmly attached to Lord Sri Krishna, whose desires are always fulfilled, the Lord was not internally affected by any mundane sex desire. Still, to perform his pastime, the Lord took advantage of all those moonlight autumn nights which inspire poetic descriptions of transcendental affairs. Purport. It is difficult to translate into English the word rasa, which indicates the spiritual bliss derived from one's loving relationship with Lord Kṛṣṇa. The bliss is experienced in the midst of spiritual pastimes with the Lord and his devotees. Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that the great Vaishnava poets like Vyasa, Parashara, Jayadev, Leela Shuka, Bilva Mangal Thakur, Govardhan Acharya, and Srila Rupa Goswami have tried in their poetry to describe the conjugal affairs of the Lord. These descriptions are never complete. However, since the Lord's pastimes are unlimited, Thus, the attempt to glorify such pastimes is still going on and will go on forever. Lord Krishna arranged an extraordinary season of beautiful autumn nights to enhance his loving affairs, and those autumn nights have inspired transcendental poets since time immemorial. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear Vaishnavas, for joining. So we are reading this Rasa Panchadhyaya. This is the last chapter in the Rasa Lila pastimes in Canto 10. So the point here is to talk about the word Rasa. The word Rasa is mentioned. It indicates spiritual bliss. Spiritual bliss. And how is that spiritual bliss conceived or understood? It cannot be experienced by anything connected to matter. For example, someone says, "Oh, I feel blissful when I find great rasa in rasgulla, or rasamalai mein rasa." That's not really the word. We may find some sweet taste. We may like that sweet taste. Someone may like salty taste, but that's not really rasa. The word, that bliss, which we are talking about here, that spiritual bliss is experienced only by the Lord and his pure devotees in relationship, in spiritual pastime, in any of the rasa. It's not just talking about conjugal rasa or madhurya rasa, talking about any rasa, like the sakhya rasa, dasya rasa also. A devotee feels great joy in being enjoyed by the master or Krishna. That is the real meaning of rasa. And devotees enjoy in the enjoyment of the Lord, and Krishna enjoys in the enjoyment of the devotees. And therefore, these are called reciprocal relationship. So, it is nowhere compared to the ordinary boy-girl dancing. That's very mundane. And therefore, what to speak of bliss? It leads to degradation, and it leads to exploitation, and it leads to problems in the world. But the rasa connected to the Lord, it always leads to upliftment. It always leads to enlightenment. It always leads to Shuddha Sattva. Because anything connected to Krishna, who is Shuddha Sattva, will always lead to purity. And there's also mentioned in the purport that how great poets, great devotees, like some names mentioned, Vyasa, Parashara, Jayadeva, etc., from time immemorial they have been glorifying this. Krishna's leelas are unlimited. Krishna's qualities are unlimited. So it is mentioned that Krishna enjoyed Rasa Leela every night for 12 months. Sarvaha. How can it be possible? Sarva Sharat Rasa Rasa Shreya. These nights were nights endowed with all the virtues of the 6 seasons, of which all the rasas expressed in the poetic works Kavya Katha take shelter Ashraya. Kavya Katha Ashraya. That's the poetic works take shelter. Hare Krishna. And devotees are happy in the happiness of the Supreme Lord and other devotees. This is Vrindavan. Feeling happiness in the happiness of others. So a genuine devotee will always be very happy to see the happiness of other devotees, to see the service of other devotees, not be very competitive or envious. Hare Krishna. Next 26 and 27 together. Will anyone like to read this? Mataji, thank you for joining. Are you in a position to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. You can try. Shri Parikshit Vacha Samstapana Dharmasya Prashamaye Tarasya Cha Avtirno Hi Bhagavan Amshena Jagat Ishvara Sakatham Dharma Setu Nam Vakta Karta Bhirakshita Pratipam Acharat Brahman Para Antarabrimarashanam. Translation and purport by the disciples of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Parikshit Maharaj said, O Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the universe, has descended to this earth along with his plenary portion to destroy irreligion and re-establish religious principles. Indeed, he is the original speaker, follower, and guardian of moral laws. How then could he have violated them by touching other men's wives? Purport. As Shukadev Goswami was speaking, King Parikshit noticed that some persons seated in the assembly on the banks of the Ganges were harboring doubt about the Lord's activities. These doubtful persons were karmis, jnanis, and others who were not devotees of the Lord. To clear up their doubts, King Parikshit asks these questions on their behalf. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very thoughtful verse and 2 verses you read. King Parikshit is asking this question. To whom? Whom is he asking this question to?
To Shukadev Goswami.
Shukdev Goswami. And why is he asking?
Because he noticed that there were some people that were seated in the audience. They had like certain doubts about how the Lord was performing pastimes with other wives. So, like from I think the materialistic standpoint, and it says that they were the karmis and jnanis.
Thank you. And till this day, this question comes. Is it not? Many people ask this question, how can Kṛṣṇa do Rasa Leela? So King Parikshit, not for his own self, great devotees have no doubt, because they understand that Kṛṣṇa is, we were discussing this in the yesterday's class also, that he is above these 3 modes, right? Mohitam nabhijanati mamebhyam param avyayam tribhir guna mair bhavir epi sarvam idam jagat. This world is under the 3 modes, but mohitam nabhijanati, people who are deluded, people who are foolish, abjananti mam moda, mamebhya param avyayam, I am above these. Like the sun is always above the clouds. So Parikshit Maharaj, who is a very intelligent and top class devotee, is asking this for the benefit of others in that assembly. Where is this assembly going on? New York, France. Where is this assembly going on?
On the banks of River Ganga.
On the banks of River Ganga. Okay, yes. Shukdev Goswami. Yes, there's a place called Shukatal actually also. If you go on the way to Haridwar, it comes near that. So Shukdev Goswami spoke Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam there. Still date that sacred tree is present, or the offsprings of that tree. Last time I went to India about 2 years back, we got a chance to go to that holy place. So that's where Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was spoken to Parikshit Maharaj. But there were a lot of other peoples also, like karmis, jnanis, monis, etc. To clarify the doubt in their heart, sometimes, great people ask that question. Muneha sadhu prishtoham jagadbhir lokamangalam yat krita Kṛṣṇa samprashna yena atma suprasidati. Even Shukdev Goswami says, oh, your question is very, very noble, wonderful, good job, great question. Because it connects with Krishna. So anything now, Parikshit Maharaj is not asking, oh, I'm asking this on behalf of others. You see? But it's implied. It's implied, and the acharyas are able to tell us the deeper meaning. He's not saying, oh no, I am good, I am all set, I am great devotee, I don't have doubt. But so great souls take the position of as a humble seeker, so that the knowledge can be received. Like Arjuna also took that position. Rupa Goswami asking Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, etc. They don't say, hey, please give me this knowledge so later masses can get benefit. That's not their mood. But someone else, the third person who is an acharya, is able to tell us that. So let's see what was the response. Anyone would like to read? Anyone wants to read text 28? Please try. Don't feel shy. No prerequisites required. Shurma Mataji, Radha Vyarini Mataji, want to try? Anjali Priya Devi, want to try?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can read the base.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Aptakamo yadupati kritvan ve jugupsitam kimabhipraya etannah sankshayam sindhi subrata. Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Śrīla Prabhupada Śrīla Prabhupada. O faithful upholder of vows, please destroy our doubt by explaining to us what purpose the self-satisfied Lord of the Yadus had in mind when he behaved so contemptibly. Purport. It is clear to the enlightened that these doubts will arise in the minds and hearts of persons unfamiliar with the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Therefore, since time immemorial, great sages and enlightened kings like Maharaj Parikshit have openly raised these questions to provide the authoritative answer for our posterity. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Mataji. The Rasa Leela section is over. Now a question has been asked. Why? To remove the doubts in the minds of the people who are present there, and in the future generations also. The people who will doubt the unfamiliar transcendental pastimes. They don't doubt about the Govardhan Leela. Or they don't doubt about like killing Putana. Hey, why Krishna did that? Because they know they can't try to imitate that. But Rasalila, dancing with the gopis, oh, that's a problem. Or why can't we do that? Their problem is, one senior devotee was telling, their problem is not that why Krishna did that. Their problem is, oh, why can't I do that? Why is it considered immoral if I do that? And then they try to compete with Krishna or consider themselves as equal to God. So, great souls have asked this question for our benefit. Let's see the response. Yes, Manjulali, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, text 29. Shri Shuka Uvacha Dharma Vyatikramo Drishta Ishwaranam Cha Sahasam Tejyasam Na Doshaya Vahane Sarvabhujo Yatha. Shukdev Goswami said, the status of powerful controllers is not harmed by any apparently audacious transgression of morality we may see in them, for they are just like fire, which devours everything fed into it and remains unpolluted. Purport: great, potent personalities are not ruined by an apparent transgression of moral principles. Sridhar Swami mentions the examples of Brahma, Indra, Soma, Vishwamitra, and others. A fire devours all that is fed into it, but the fire does not change its nature. Similarly, a great personality does not fall from his position by an irregularity in behavior. In the following verse, however, Shukdev Goswami makes it clear that if we try to imitate the great personalities ruling the universe, the result will be catastrophic. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for reading this verse. Any thoughts, comments anyone has? Reflections? Quite insightful verse. What is the idea here being conveyed? That these special personalities, what to speak of the Supreme Lord himself, even powerful personalities like Soma, Shiva basically, Vishwamitra, Indra, Brahma, etc. Right? They are very, very powerful, like the fire, like the huge fire. If you put one bucket of ghee in forest fire, what will happen? What will happen? Will the fire extinguish? If you put like a big bucket, 5 gallons of ghee in the forest fire, it can easily consume it, right? The fire devours all that is fed into the fire, but does not change its nature. But you put a bucket of ghee in a lamp of fire, like a diya, what will happen? The diya will blow away, it will extinguish. So we are like that lamp. We are Anu. Krishna is Vibhu. We cannot compare. We are tiny, infinitesimal. Krishna is infinite. We cannot compare. Don't try to imitate the great souls, as it is said. If we try to imitate, we will fall on our face. Many people try to imitate and they fall on their face. And if you have to try to imitate, first try, like, okay, like people say, oh, Shiva drank bhang, right? So some people, they offer liquor in Shiva temple and say, oh, we are followers of Shiva. Well, Shiva drank the entire ocean of poison. Shiva is also called Gangadhara. he can hold the entire Ganges flow, right? So we are cheating ourselves if we are trying to imitate them, these great people. So apparent transgression of morality we may see in them. So first of all, we should not see those things because we may not be fully aware also of what's going on. So for example, Prabhupada also mentioned that, okay, Lord Brahma one time was, enchanted by his own daughter. So one should not see that as a fault finding, but rather we should take lesson and not try to imitate that or not try to see even that as a fault. They are taking that role to teach us a lesson. Whether it's Shiva, Lord Shiva going after Mohini Murthy, or any apparently contradictory or hard to understand things. But that doesn't mean that if some ordinary Baba, they say, oh, I'm special, so I do this with my followers. No, that's cheating. An ordinary Baba, an ordinary sadhu, they cannot say, oh, I'm dancing with girls and that's considered my Rasa Leela and I'm special, therefore I can do it. No, sorry, not accepted, because Shastras are saying, Shukdev Goswami makes it clear that if we try to imitate these great personalities ruling the universe, are we the rulers of universe like Indra, Brahma, etc.? Certainly not. So if an ordinary person tries to do that, it will result in catastrophic, and it happens. It ruins their life, and unfortunately it ruins the lives of the innocent followers also, those who are following such so-called Babas. Many Babas are into these scams, etc. So one should be careful, in short. Any other thoughts here? We will read next verse. Who would like to read? Netad samachare jatu manasa sapihi anishvarha vinashyati acharan modyad yatha rudro abhijam visham. One who is not a great controller should never imitate the behavior of ruling personalities, even mentally. If out of foolishness an ordinary person does imitate such behavior, he will simply destroy himself, just as a person who is not Rudra would destroy himself if he tried to drink an ocean of poison. We just talking about this. So true. Lord Shiva or Rudra once drank an ocean of poison, and the result was that an attractive blue mark appeared on his neck, Nilakantha, right? But if we were to drink even a drop of such poison, we will die immediately. Just as we should not imitate the pastime of Shivas, we should not imitate Lord Krishna's activities with the gopis. We should clearly understand that while Lord Krishna certainly descends to demonstrate religious principles, he also descends to demonstrate that he is God and we are not. He is God and we are not. That also must be demonstrated. The Lord enjoys with his internal potency and thus attracts us to the spiritual platform. We should not try to imitate Krishna, for we will suffer severely. Hare Krishna. So quite clear, these two verses are giving a very clear message that we should not try to imitate the Supreme Lord. We'll fall on the head. And it will lead to disaster or catastrophe. Rather, we should understand that if someone says, well, then why is Lord doing this pastime? Well, he is God. He can do anything. Now, he'll not take our sanction. Oh, can I do this pastime? He'll not ask all of us. He's God. He's a Bhigya. He's Swarat. He descends to demonstrate religious pastime. He did that in many, many occasions. But he also descends to demonstrate that he is God. He's the Supreme Lord. He can enjoy with millions of gopis. He can marry millions of queens. He can do anything he wants because he is God. And the source of all enjoyment, the source of all happiness, the source of all rasas, the master of all jivas. Even mentally, we should not do that, trying to imitate these. And many people out of foolishness do this. And what happens? They end up in destruction. They destroy themselves. Any other thoughts? Comments here? The word Nilakantha is also comes, so blue mark comes. One external reason is why Lord Shiva has this blue mark, because he drank the ocean of poison, but the internal reason is he's always chanting the name of that blue boy, Kṛṣṇa. So his neck has a blue mark. Is also called as Nila. Nila means blue. Kantha means throat. Okay, text 31. Anyone wants to read 31? Yes, Shital Mataji, you want to try? Yes. Manjal, you want to try?
Hare Krishna. Ishwaranam vacha satyam tathaiva charitam kvachit tesham yatso vacho yuktam buddhimam stat samacharit. The statements of the Lord's empowered servants are always true, and the acts they perform are exemplary when consistent with those statements. Therefore, one who is intelligent should carry out their instructions. Purport: the word Ishvara is usually defined in Sanskrit dictionaries as Lord, Master, Ruler, and also as capable, potent to perform. Srila Prabhupada often translated the word Ishvara as controller, which brilliantly synthesizes the two fundamental concepts of Ishvara, namely a master or ruler and a capable or potent person. A master may be incompetent, but a controller is a master or lord who in fact makes things happen. The Parameshwara, the Supreme Ishvara, the Supreme Controller, is of course God, Kṛṣṇa, the cause of all causes. Although people in general, especially in the Western countries, are not aware of the fact, powerful personalities control our universe. The modern impersonal concept of the universe depicts an almost totally lifeless cosmos in which the earth floats meaninglessly. Thus, we are left with the dubious ultimate purpose of preserving and reproducing our genetic code, which has its own ultimate purpose of adding another link to the meaningless chain of events by again reproducing itself. In contrast to this sterile, meaningless world concocted by ignorant materialists, the actual universe is full of life, personal life, and in fact full of God, who pervades and supports all that exists. The essence of reality is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his personal relationship with the innumerable living beings, of whom we are samples. Some of the living beings are trapped in the illusion of materialism or identification with the material body, while others are liberated, aware of their eternal spiritual nature. A third class comprises those progressing in self realization from the materialistic state of ignorance to the enlightened state of Krishna consciousness. Reality is ultimately personal and divine, and therefore it is not surprising that, as the Vedic literature reveals to us, our universe and other universes are managed by great personalities, just as a city, state, and country are managed by empowered personalities. When we democratically award a particular politician the right to govern, we vote for him because he has exhibited something we call leadership or ability. We think he'll get the job done. In other words, it is only after an individual acquires the power to govern that we vote for him. Our vote does not make him a leader, but rather recognizes a power in him coming from some other source. Thus, as Lord Krishna explains at the end of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, any living being exhibiting an extraordinary power, ability, or authority must have been empowered by the Lord Himself or by the Lord's energy.
Very cool. This is a longer purport, but maybe we can sum up till here. Want to share anything, Manjulali, in this context?
So, so here they were explaining that Krishna is the supreme ruler, and Prabhupada beautifully summarizes it by defining Ishvara as the controller, which means a master who is capable of doing things, making things possible. And he was just explaining that in this world we do not have idea, in the Western world we do not have the idea that our universes are being managed by very, very powerful personalities, just as our cities and other departments in the material world are managed by some authorities. So similarly, universes are also being managed by powerful authorities. And so life is not meaningless. Life has a meaning. But in the Western world, we just keep thinking that we need to just preserve this genetic coding and we just need to keep reproducing for like nothing. But there is higher purpose to life.
Thank you. I see Ishan has joined. Thank you, Ishan, for joining. You want to read a little bit?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sure.
So here, so you can complete the purport from here.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Those directly empowered by the Lord are devoted to Him, and thus their power and influence spread goodness throughout the world, whereas those who are empowered by the Lord illusory potency are in an indirect relationship with Kṛṣṇa because they do not directly reflect his will. Of course, they do reflect his will indirectly, since it is by Kṛṣṇa's arrangement that the laws of nature act upon ignorant living beings, gradually persuading them, through their journey of many lifetimes, to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Thus, as politicians create wars, false hopes, and innumerable passionate scenes for the materialistic persons who follow them, the politicians are indirectly carrying out the Lord's program of allowing the conditioned souls to experience the bitter fruit of godlessness. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has translated the word Ishvarana as those who have become powerful through knowledge and austerity. As one understands the nature and will of God and makes the personal sacrifice required to achieve excellence in spiritual life, one becomes empowered by the Supreme Lord to represent his will, which one has intelligently recognized and accepted. The Supreme Personality of Godhead kindly descends to earth to show a vivid example of religious behavior. As Lord Kṛṣṇa states in the Bhagavad Gita 3.24, if I did not execute standard duties, the whole world would be misled and in fact destroyed. Thus the Lord showed in his different incarnations how to act properly in this world. A good example is Lord Ramachandra, who behaved wonderfully as the son of King Dasharatha. But when Lord Kṛṣṇa himself descends, he also demonstrates the ultimate religious principle, namely that the Supreme Lord is beyond all other living beings, and that no one can imitate his supreme position. This foremost of all religious principles, that the Lord is unique, without equal or superior, was clearly demonstrated in Lord Kṛṣṇa's apparently immoral pastimes with the gopis. No one can imitate these activities without incurring dire consequences, as explained here by Shukadeva Goswami. One who thinks that Lord Kṛṣṇa is an ordinary living being subjected to lust, or accepts his Rasa dance as admirable and tries to imitate it, will certainly be vanished, as described in text 30 of this chapter. Finally, a distinction must be made between the Lord and his empowered servants. An empowered servant of the Lord, as in the case of Brahma, may experience a remnant of reaction to previous activities according to the law of karma. But the Lord is eternally free from any entanglement in the laws of karma. He is on a unique platform. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Ishan Prabhu. Very nice. Any thoughts in this section you read?
No, not really, Prabhuji.
Nice. It's a beautiful verse to meditate upon. Ishwaranam vacha satyam. Who is Ishwaranam? This is referring to the empowered representatives of the Lord, who are being empowered by the Lord's energy. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, those who are directly empowered by the Lord, who are devoted to him, right? Like Srila Prabhupada, the great acharyas, Ishwar, those who are powerful through knowledge and austerity. In different ways, the word Ishwaranam has been. Their words are Satya. Tathaiva acharitam kvachit. Tathaiva acharitam. What they do, kvachit, sometimes. Tesham yatsva vacho yuktam. So the act they perform are exemplary when consistent with those statements. Therefore, one who is intelligent should carry out their instruction. So it's a great verse on leadership, because we are all leaders in some capacity or the other. Everyone is a leader in some way or the other, whether you're leading one person or 10,000 people or a million people. That's like his Grace Chaitanya Prabhu says, everyone is a CEO of their life, or should be, right? So the point is, we should act in alignment with our statements. And what are those statements? The statements of the Lord's empowered servant. So we should act as under the guidance of Lord's empowered servants. In short, pure Vaishnavas, pure Gurus, like Srila Prabhupada, etc. The one who is intelligent will carry out their instructions. Like Kṛṣṇa told Arjuna, and Arjuna said, yes, I'll carry out your instruction. Srila Prabhupada has given us the words of the scriptures in simple English language. And if we carry out those instructions, we'll be happy, we'll be joyful. And intelligent people do that. What do the less intelligent do? Less intelligent, they debate, they question, they challenge. Why should I do? Why should I not do the opposite? And what happens? The outcome is they are devoured, they are lost in this material world. This is what Vivek Goswami is telling to Shri Maharaj. It's almost 8:30. And any questions, thoughts before we wrap up for today? We're about to wrap up the call for the day. Anyone has any thoughts, questions, or comments? And my sincere gratitude to all of you who joined for even 1 minute today on this Nirjala Ekadashi. I hope you had a wonderful time in different Krishna conscious activities, and whatever time is spending in the rest of the day, I hope that also is very, very spiritually enlightening and uplifting. So we'll end this call today, and thank you so much for your association. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samviti Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vishnuvibhyo namo. Thank you, Hare Krishna.